Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of TerickTime. We are on episode 7 now. And a little bit of a recap for last week's episode, we did a whole bunch of building. So we now have a warehouse on the island here. It is housing our TNT powered oak tree farm to be able to supply us with the crazy amount of logs we're going to need to terraform this island. So very happy with the results of this farm still. We're sitting on about, I think, 5 double chests of oak logs right now, which is going to get us going in a really good way. And I'll continue to AFK there a little bit every now and then just to make sure the supplies stay up. Still spending, as I was saying in the last week's episode, I spend a lot of time just hanging out in this area now, so really happy with the kind of feel and vibe, just the lush greenery, all the little finer details I was able to work out, with the coarse dirt here, the little pockets of flowers, the sweet berries up onto the mountain there. So really happy with how I was able to bring kind of this entire area together. So I really want to continue doing this a little bit further south now, but that means before we kind of want to start terraforming everything, I think we should get a couple more builds done here. So I've got one little mini tower that I want to build just kind of up on that square floating dirt. That's going to be location A for our first project today, being a little mini tower. And then I've got a couple other little ideas that I think we're just gonna kind of roll right into. So I think I've got all my resources all lined up there. So let's kick this episode off with a building time lapse, get this tower built up, and then I'll share with you a couple more ideas of what I've got going on for today's episode. Alright, we got our little tower all built up here. Fairly simple design. Again, didn't want to make it super bright and kind of take over the focal point of the area. Just something to kind of take up space a little bit. So not so it's just all trees, but there's a couple more buildings dotted around there. But you know what, that didn't take very long. So you know what, let's grab a few more resources and let's go build another little tower. I'm kind of feeling the building vibe right now. folks, we have another tower all built up, ready to go here. So this placement was actually, ooh, hello, very strategic. I spent quite a bit of time kind of moving it around. It originally was going to be almost all the way up in the intersection here, but taking a little bit of time to kind of step back and think about it, if I had put it over there, it would have covered up most of this tower while you would have been walking on this path here. So by nudging it over, you kind of get that depth and perspective all the way to the further tower there, this one here, and then you get the kelp farm. But you get a little bit of that kelp farm all the way at the back, the side here, and this front here. So it really gives you some perspective on this angle. And then over from here, when you're coming along this path here, you see the boat all the way over there. So again, I had to make sure that this tower was far enough to the left here so that when you came down here, you could still see the boat all the way over there. I really didn't want to cover that up. So as we go through and continue terraforming, I'm going to be really careful to make sure that, you know, if we do any trees in this area, we can have, you know, something kind of along the side here, maybe a little bit of something here, but then whatever we do in the middle here either has to be kind of like a tree that kind of comes up and over, or maybe nothing at all. Maybe no big trees over there whatsoever. Maybe just a little some low-lying bushes to make sure that we get that view all the way over to there. So the other thing I've been thinking about is possibly taking this path and bringing it over here to almost like a little bit of a lookout kind of thing, so you can kind of look out over the harbor and the boat here. So that's another little idea I'm kind of playing with in my head here, but nothing for sure yet. So, but yeah, really happy how this little tower's been able to come into fruition here. It was an idea I had in my test world for quite a while before I actually kind of, you know, settled down and said, you know what, I'm just going to build it and see how it fits, because I was a little unsure. But now that it is up in the world here, I love it. It just brings a lot of contrast and color and perspective and depth into this area. So I am going to move over to working on terraforming this area here. I think I'm going to bring you along for part of it along here. Kind of need to get this cliffside prettied up a little bit. Don't know if we're going to get that far, but I do really want to continue working in this center area here, where this needs to be made pretty here, and this area here needs to be made pretty. So it kind of ties into the existing terraforming that we've done on this side. So by completing this side, especially these two cliffs, and maybe I think we need at least 1 or 2 trees on this side to kind of balance the path out, but I don't want to cover this up from this perspective here. So if we do a tree, it's going to have to be kind of a little bit closer to that cliff, and then just some low-lying smaller trees and shrubs kind of in this area here, so we don't block off the view here, because when you come down this path, I don't want to have a big tree here blocking off all these builds. So yeah, let's play with this one. So I think I'm going to get this cliff done here really quickly, and then we're going to move on to the tree, and then we'll see where this episode takes us. I have a couple of ideas that hopefully I can make time for. You can kind of see that little block of dirt? That over there. There's an idea, but I don't know if we're going to have enough time to squeeze it into this episode, but we'll see how far we get. Okay, now that we've got the cliff, mountain thing all kind of cleaned up a little bit, we still need to go through and do like the sweet berries, the grass, and some leaves and stuff kind of climbing up, kind of like vines or bushes just kind of going up the mountainside, but that I like to do after trees. So I thought I'd bring you back in a little bit here and I can just talk about kind of my thought process, kind of where I plan on putting the trees. So the biggest thing I need to do right now is I need to find some balance between the right side of the path and the left side of the path. So I do want to do a couple of different types of trees because I know I kind of went a little heavy on the oak logs here. I wasn't really using the spruce too much on this side, so I do want to have another spruce tree, but the spruce tree being typically tall, we're going to have to be a little strategic with where we put it because we don't want to cut off any sight lines. So, you know, if you're coming along here, I wouldn't want to have a spruce tree right here and take out that view, but what I could do is I can have a spruce tree kind of a little bit over to the left here. So if we're walking up the path, you can kind of, you know, almost kind of like you're seeing that out of the corner of your eye. So if we're here and that comes into view, you want to be able to turn and be like, oh wow, oh my gosh, it's like all the way over there, but we can see it, and it looks, you know, kind of majestic, kind of in between the little bit of a mountain here, this building kind of in behind here, this building in front, just gives you so much depth there. So, but we can increase that even more by putting a tree maybe like right here. So if we just throw a couple of logs down there, come back over here, so immediately I can see a problem. This tree is going to block out this entirely from this path, which is no good. So this placement isn't going to work. So if that doesn't work, what if we just kind of push it back further back towards the cliff here? So if we try this and come back over here, so if we have, you know, even when we get over here, we're going to have to be thinking about sight lines here. So, you know, not blocking that off, but primarily we're kind of concerned from kind of about this landing forward. So right now, from here, it would be blocking that tower. But from here, our main focus is going to be this way. So we've got the light here with the two buildings in behind it. You can see a little bit of that tree there and the kelp farm kind of looming kind of overhead a little bit. So here we're kind of okay. We might do more low-lying bushes, shrubs, trees along here. Not necessarily tall, but coming back over this way, see how that tree is kind of tucked up against the cliff? That's probably going to work there. So when we're coming this way, we still have that view there, and when we're here, it's going to go kind of up beside it. We'll lose a little bit of the melon and pumpkin farm in the back there, but we're still going to get this over the ridge. And as you come in, the tree will probably be out to here. You'll get that kind of glimpse of that melon and pumpkin farm back there. So yeah, I'm going to do a whole bunch more running back and forth, you know, looking at different angles. So making sure that, you know, when we come along this way, we have a tree here. That's okay. We're going to be able to still see this tree either side of it. You can't see the slime farm over the mountain there. So that should be okay there. So that's kind of going to be our first tree placement there. So I'm going to do this a whole bunch more times and kind of figure out where I'm going to put everything. And let's switch back over to a time lapse and get these trees all built up. Alright, so I got this other tree all finished up here. It kind of evolved a little bit bigger than I was originally planning. I was also planning on making it more of just a kind of straight up and down spruce tree, but I kind of like the way I kind of took this. It's a little something different, little bit more unique, right? So it's just different from the larger oak style tree that I've been kind of leaning towards. So trying to differentiate the types of trees I can build. So I feel like we're off to a good start, but I think I'm gonna have to go back in with some oak leaves and just kind of mix some of the other colored leaves in there just to give it a little bit more detail. It's very bland and dark right now, which isn't quite so good. But and then I thought I hit record earlier. I didn't. So yeah, oops. But yeah, we have 1, 2, and 3 more trees built here, so I think we're good for the kind of larger sized trees on this side. I just need to kind of go through and do some of these little skinnier, low to the ground kind of things in this area and do some of those finer details. So I'm going to keep working on that, and I'll bring you back in for the final results here. All right, everybody, you ready? I have got a decent chunk here all finished up and ready to show you. Integrated a lot of it a little bit further back into the north side of the island, but yeah, check this out. We've got everything integrated up to the top of the cliff there. Went through and did all of our little terraforming tricks with the rocks coming in, the dirt and the berries. All the grass has been put in, little pockets of flowers, got some vines growing, like actual vines growing up on the rocks over there. Yeah, I am super proud of this space right now and how I've been able to kind of connect what we did all the way up here, been able to bring it all the way further south here, and still maintain, these sight lines along the paths to be able to really showcase a lot of the builds that aren't rendering in properly. But yeah, I am really, really happy with this area, super happy. But while I was finishing this up, I realized something that I have totally forgot to do for the last little while, and that is update the map room. I've done like I've done a couple of builds recently, and I haven't been updating maps, so that is a big oops on my part. But I'm going to quickly fly around and update these maps to for the island, and let's go down and check out that map room. Alright, so we are now down in the map room. This is the last map we took. Yeah, it's been a little while. Like, we don't have a harbor. We don't have that tower. We don't have either of these towers. We don't have all of the trees. And we don't have the warehouse. Like, we've done a lot of building in the last couple of weeks. Holy. So this is the old, and this is our new. That's a lot. Like, the pier, the ship, tower 1 here, 2, 3, the warehouse, and all of this terraforming, and of course, the little raft with the little armor statues on it. So, wow, that's actually a ton. That's a lot, and that doesn't even show all the storage room underneath here that we did too. Holy, wow, crazy. And yeah, if you haven't seen the episode with the storage room, it's right over there. But, if you want to see it, you can just go back. I think it's 2 episodes. So, but it is nighttime right now. So I am quickly going to, I think, throw on some shaders, and let's go for a little bit of a walk through all this newly terraformed area that we have. I am so scared right now. Oh my lord. I need to do something about the mobs over there. Okay, we're just going to leave. Okay, we're going to go. It's okay. We're just... they're not over there. They're not over there. Okay. Once I can get the world to load in, because it is struggle busing right now. Okay. So we have the ship all the way over there. We've got this tower here. This is all brand new. And look at that. That's a really nice little contrast. The the orange terracotta, the blue terracotta, and the gray concrete. And then, of course, the little antennas with the end rods in there just to kind of give it a little bit of light up top. Make sure I'm not being followed. Okay, good. So, remember earlier in the episode we were talking about the perspective. So, if we come along here, if it loads in, there it is. There it is. Hey, look at that. So we've got the little bush here, a little bit of a tree here, that building there, this building here, and this tree here. All of that while being able to see that in the background still. That's just such a cool view, being able to pull that off. So yeah, I've added little tiny pockets of light into the terraforming just to kind of give it a little bit of something, just to kind of draw your eye over so you can start seeing some of the other details. I actually removed a little bit of the light from this side. There was just a little bit too much. Might have taken out a little bit too much, not really sure. I might need to add something back in the middle here, but other than that, folks, I'm just loving this area so much. I just couldn't be happier. So I'm gonna be shush now and just take you for a little bit of a walk, and I think that's going to be it for this episode. So if you have enjoyed yourself, please, give me a like or a comment of something that you really liked in the episode. It would mean a lot to me, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you, everybody, for watching.